At the heart of the Savanna, nature never hands out a free pass for mercy. People often label this as uncompromising, but in truth, it more closely resembles a risk management system. The name of the game is quite simple. If you are not the one enjoying a meal, then you are the one on the menu. Meet her husband, the king. Lions call the shots through a sophisticated social structure. A lion pride is an organized army, built on a strict division of tasks and unwavering loyalty. In this realm, order is supreme. When a dominant male lion steps forward, the rest of the group falls silent. When a bountiful feast is available, the alpha male is the first to partake. Whether or not the pride was responsible for bringing the meal home. A full-grown hippopotamus weighs nearly 3 tons. It is a vast treasure chest that this lion pride will draw from over the next 3 days. An outsider female has caught the scent of the meal, and she wants a piece of the action. When the well-being of the cubs is put to the test, the true nature of the monarchy comes to light. To protect these little princes, the male lions form ironclad alliances. A pride consists of up to 5 males who are typically brothers. The males are constantly patrolling their territory, keeping an eye out for wanderers who might try to claim the pride. The more crowded the territory is with other lions, the more the brothers must stick together. To secure a meal as large as a wildebeest, a spotted hyena needs at least 3 to 4 companions by its side. Yet within their rather loose social structure, their social structure is a complex web of constant maneuvering for status. They are many in number, yet they aren't truly joined at the hip. Listen to that sound. That is the force of 9,000 newtons of pressure from those jaws. The spotted hyena lets nothing go to waste, bones, horns, or hooves. Their digestive systems are so robust, they can process even the sturdiest fragments of calcium. However, within a hyena clan, the concept of sharing is quite a rare luxury. This is an extreme version of a free market economy. It is every man for himself, and the quickest mouth wins. Rivalry serves as the very glue that holds their society together. They stand together for the hunt, but they won't hesitate to jostle for position to claim the finest prize. A collective of self-interested individuals operating with remarkable efficiency under the guidance of an Iron Queen. While the lion lets out a deep roar to show off and the hyena laughs to cause a stir, this third figure chooses the path of silence. The leopard, the ghost of the Savanna. This is a completely different kind of presence. No pride, no alliances, and no need for a stamp of approval from anyone else. Its strategy is built entirely on staying completely out of sight. The leopard's strength is found in its solitude. Without a pride for protection, the leopard doesn't engage in the tiring pursuits of the hyena. It measures every last millimeter. It is a master of spatial geometry, always calculating the most perfect angle for its approach. And when it makes its move, everything is settled in the blink of an eye, before the other party even knows what happened. A leopard weighing 60 kilograms can pull a prize twice its own weight high into the branches to avoid the gaze of thieves. That is its own special rule. Use camouflage to begin and vanish when the work is finished. In this kingdom, power wears many faces. An authoritative king, a scheming crowd, or a solitary ghost. All are preparing for the upcoming encounters, where boundaries will be redrawn through endless struggles for balance. If the floor of the savanna is a chessboard filled with pitfalls, then the acacia tree is the one piece that allows the leopard to step outside the lines of the usual rules. In the eyes of a seeker, this tree serves as a fortress. Yet this stronghold only opens its doors to those who are truly up to the task. To a male lion or a hyena, the acacia tree is a bothersome hurdle, a reminder that their supreme authority has a very clear physical boundary: gravity. But for the leopard, this tree is its saving grace, a path to rise above the demanding realities of the world below. We are witnessing a survival boundary defined by height. An uneven struggle where being the strongest doesn't necessarily mean you rule the roost at the top level. Let's talk about the technical side. To dominate the heights, the leopard has evolved in a completely different direction from its distant relatives. They possess highly developed fast-twitch muscle fibers and a shoulder blade structure that isn't locked to the collarbone. Meanwhile, let's look at our king of the ground. The lion's shoulder blades are designed to be a high-impact launch pad. They must withstand head-on encounters with tons of weight from buffalo or zebras, pinning a massive prize to the earth with sheer force. Lionesses are capable of climbing, and sometimes they are at the top of their game, but they cannot live in the trees. Above, the leopard is catching its breath, heart racing fast enough to burst, but it has found safety. That in this realm, showing mercy is viewed as a genetic disadvantage. If you permit a rival to reach maturity, you are essentially undermining your own lineage. The lion maintains its grip on the landscape through intimidation and force. The leopard preserves its existence through cleverness and the cover of shadows. These two worlds frequently cross paths at the base of the acacia tree, the meeting point between hope and finality. This territorial struggle has endured for millions of years and will continue to unfold. A king never lets his guard down on the throne, and a ghost never ceases its watch from the heights. But take care, for at the lower tiers of the social hierarchy, another force is beginning to rise. A force that operates through sheer numbers and wild, haunting laughter. And that is when the plot thickens as the next piece on the board is revealed. Welcome to the most demanding phase of the kingdom, the dry season. At this time, the savanna is no longer an expansive playground. It has transformed into a massive barometer where the pressure of staying the course raises the stakes with every hour of intense sun. Water is gold, but energy is diamonds. Here, we are about to witness a face-off that is not rooted in innate rivalry like that of the lion, but rather in an uncompromising energy economy. The leopard is a refined artist, while the spotted hyena is a calculated thief. In this kingdom, there isn't a single moment where one can afford to let their guard down, because lavish feasts. One side represents the pinnacle of individual talent, while the other stands for the power of persistence and the strength of the group. They keep each other in check, maintaining a delicate balance across the grasslands. But bear in mind, the quietness of this struggle is merely a brief intermission. Because as the dry season reaches its peak and watering holes become nothing more than muddy traps of finality, another encounter, broader and more intense, is about to unfold. The game of hide and seek has reached its end. Now it is time for the moment of truth through head-on confrontations. When the need for nourishment and hydration reaches a make or break point, the rules will be rewritten with tooth and claw. Brace yourselves, because the kingdom is about to experience a fiery struggle between the dominant seekers of the land. The forest fire, radiant, overpowering, and unstoppable when at its peak. It sweeps across the grassland with explosive power, clearing all resistance with absolute authority. But every fire must eventually run its course. That is when the rare raindrops arrive, leaving behind ashes and the hope of a fresh start. The king governs his realm with the bold, intense spirit of one who possesses overwhelming strength. The hyena pack, boisterous and persistent, will seize the moment whenever an opportunity to take control arises. The latest data from Etosha National Park in the year 2024 has confirmed a sobering reality. More than 70% of adult hyena losses are not caused by illness or hunger, but are brought about by the lion. Lions take down hyenas but almost never consume them. They do so out of pure urgent, will go on until the end of time. But the savanna is home to far more than just these massive figures. In the secluded corners of the grasslands, beneath the dense thickets, other specialists are quietly carving out their own legacy of survival. These are the ones who race against the clock at the very edge of existence, true masters of velocity and finesse. Brace yourselves, for we are about to step into the world of these highly specialized experts. If the lion is the heavy infantry, then these are the special operations units, the ones possessing peculiar biological upgrades to call the shots within the narrow margins of survival. In this savanna, when you lack the brawn to go toe-to-toe, you must possess smarter software or a faster engine. Let's kick things off. The cheetah is a marvel of biomechanics. Its nostrils expand to the fullest to pull in a massive intake of oxygen for its lungs and a heart that is remarkably oversized for its frame. Its spine acts like a highly elastic bow, allowing for a stride that reaches 7 meters, with an Achilles heel. Their claws are non-retractable and cannot stay razor-sharp, meaning they lack those built-in blades for self-protection or climbing like the leopard. The cheetah is simply an elite sprinter. In the Masai Mara, a stern rule of nature exists: interspecies competition. The leopard isn't just a difficult neighbor, it's an enforcer. After a full-speed burst, a cheetah enters a state of biological overheating. Its body temperature can rise to a concerning level, and it needs the rate of loss for young ones reaching 90% because of the lion and hyena. Every moment spent honing hunting skills is a precious chance for survival. The mother is teaching them how to locate the vital spot on the prey's neck, how to regulate their breathing, and how to keep their balance. It is a transfer of mastery among those living on the edge. This is the final touch. The cheetah doesn't use brute force to bring down its target. It uses momentum. By tripping the prey at high speeds, they turn the prey's own velocity into a tool against it. A perfect mathematical calculation between centrifugal force and gravity. If the cheetah is a standout individual, then the African wild dog is an unbreakable collective mind. This is the predator with the highest efficiency in the natural world, with a success rate reaching 80%, far outstripping the lion at only 30%. Their secret lies in synchronization. They don't hunt alone. They move as a pack for a single purpose, staying on the same page. Every member of the pack knows their position and role like the back of their hand. When one grows weary, another surges forward to take the lead. This is the ultimate tactic of persistent pursuit. They don't need to be the fastest. They only need to keep going longer than your... Unlike the lion or hyena, African wild dogs prioritize the pups and the weary by providing nourishment from their own catch. It is a social structure built on selflessness, a rare sight in these dog-eat-dog wildlands. However, this unity comes with a cost. African wild dogs are highly sensitive to health challenges like rabies and are consistently pursued by lions whenever the chance arises. It is a delicate existence, resting upon the strength of the ties that bind. Welcome to the air defense system of the Savanna, the Caracal, Africa's lynx-like feline. Don't judge a book by its cover when it comes to its modest size. Take a look at those tufts of hair on the ears. They are certainly not just for show. Recent research indicates they function as sound amplifying devices or air current sensors, helping them pinpoint the exact location of their targets even in the dark. The true power is found in the hind legs. With muscle bundles featuring the highest density of fast-twitch fibers in the feline family, it can leap up to 3 meters from a stationary position. It possesses the capability to intercept birds right out of the air with a swipe that happens in the blink of an eye. This is a flawless combination of physics and neural reflexes. A hunter that doesn't require a pack because it is a complete precision instrument in a league of its own. And here is its kin, the serval. If the Caracal is a fighter jet, the serval is a ground-based sonar system that is in a league of its own. Its ear-to-head size ratio is the largest within the cat family. It is all ears, capable of detecting the footsteps of a rodent scurrying through underground tunnels at a depth of 20 centimeters. Its pouncing leap is far more than a simple catch. It is a calculated mechanical impact that hits the mark to instantly neutralize the target's spine. With a success rate of 50% in solo hunts, it flies under the radar as one of the most efficient yet least recognized seekers in the wild. A true master of finesse. And finally, last but not least, we have the black-backed jackal, the craftiest diplomat of all. Not quite as swift as the cheetah, nor as powerful as the leopard, yet it possesses an exceptionally adaptable mind. It is the one that knows exactly when to be a seeker, when to be a scavenger, and when to wait for the dust to settle while the heavyweights clash to reap the benefits. A pure opportunist, surviving through its incredible ability to read the room. These seekers, no matter how sophisticated, are merely residents in a city governed by giants. There are entities in this savanna that no amount of speed or hearing can overcome. The speed of the cheetah, the endurance of the African wild dog, the reflexes of the caracal, the hearing of the serval, and the craftiness of the jackal. All have painted a perfect picture of life's diversity. But remember, these specialists are only one part of the story. For right behind these elite seekers, the mobile fortresses of the savanna are awakening. Those who need no concealment and no speed, for they themselves represent the ultimate boundary of nature's power. We have spent far too much time praising those who wear the crown, or those master hunters equipped with sharp claws and keen teeth. But let us take a look at the other side of the coin. Thriving is not measured by the power of a snap, but by the quickness of reflexes and the collective cleverness of the group. If the hunters are seasoned poker players, then the residents of the savanna are true experts in mathematics. They calculate probabilities, make the most of the landscape, and use their own heightened awareness to create defensive strategies that give even the most confident lion or leopard a run for their money. If there is any animal that looks like it was assembled from the bits and pieces of others, it is the blue wildebeest. A few horns from a buffalo, the head of a cow. The mane of a horse, and a beard that would make even the hipsters in New York green with envy. But do not be too quick to laugh. This fellow is the very heart and soul of the savanna ecosystem. Every year, about 1.5 million individuals undertake a grand journey of more than 1,000 kilometers. That collective march is a strategy called the selfish herd. In the world of the blue wildebeest, they do not need to be faster than the lion. They only need to be faster than the less fortunate companion beside them. By gathering into massive groups, they ensure the probability of any single individual being singled out is kept to an absolute minimum. Through global positioning system tracking devices in 2024, biologists discovered that the migrations of the blue wildebeest are not random at all. They possess a form of swarm intelligence that is incredibly sensitive to the slightest changes in moisture and greenery. They can sense rainfall dozens of kilometers away. Even the way they welcome new life is a survival strategy. Within a brief window of only 2 to 3 weeks, more than 500,000 young ones are born. This is known as predator swamping. A hunter might find a meal in 1, 10, or 100 of them, but they simply cannot make a dent in 500,000 within a few weeks. This species also has a very clever alliance with the plains zebra. While the plains zebra has excellent vision during the day, the blue wildebeest possesses superb hearing and a keen sense of smell. They form a multi-layered early warning system. If their striped neighbor stops to stare intently into the brush, this bearded fellow knows instantly that it is time to hit the ground running. The black and white stripes on every zebra serve as a unique fingerprint. Scientists have studied and proposed a wide variety of theories. Among these, one theory highlights the phenomenon known as motion dazzle. When the entire herd of plains zebra runs together at 60 kilometers per hour, these stripes blend into a complex visual puzzle. For a lurking lion, figuring out the distance, speed, and even the boundary where one zebra ends and another begins becomes a tough nut to crack. But those are not the only ways a zebra manages to stay ahead of the curve. These animals are true warriors with a remarkably tight social structure. Unlike the more loose organization of the blue wildebeest, the plains zebra lives in harems, a small family unit led by a single stallion with several females and their young. The lead male is not just there for show, he is a bold guardian. When facing a challenge, he will not hesitate to stand his ground at the rear, ready to deliver kicks with a force of nearly 1,500 kilograms per square centimeter. A well-placed strike can severely injure an adult lion's jaw, making it quite difficult for the hunter to sustain itself. When it comes to their diet, they are the ones who lead the way. With their hindgut fermenter digestive system, they can process the coarsest and least nutritious parts of the grass. They move through first, clearing away the tough, older layers to open a path for other residents to reach the tender shoots underneath. A dedicated protector, a tireless trailblazer, and a master of visual trickery. The plains zebra proves that in the game of staying secure, sometimes standing out in a big way is the best way to play it safe. The Impala's leap is a direct challenge to fate itself. A full-grown impala can soar as high as 3 meters, roughly the equivalent of an average person leaping right over the head of a National Basketball Association player. And it can also cover a distance of 10 meters in a single bound. A masterclass in psychological tactics known as stotting. There are special scent glands located on the ankles of an impala. When they perform those twisting leaps through the air, these glands release a specific pheromone into the breeze. Other members of the herd can follow this scent trail and keep their formation even during the confusion of a nighttime encounter when visibility is almost non-existent. An olfactory global positioning system, simply incredible. And impalas are also exceptional multitaskers. They are mixed feeders, meaning they graze on the grass and also browse on leaves from trees depending on the season. This helps them stay in peak condition all year round, while other species might struggle during the dry spells. However, maintaining a spot in a harem is no walk in the park. A lead male can be responsible for up to 100 females, and the cost is immense exhaustion from constantly standing guard and facing off against bachelors looking to take over his position. As a result, these fellows often deal with much higher stress levels and more parasites because they simply do not have the time for personal grooming. It truly is a case of, with great power comes great responsibility, or perhaps more accurately, being more likely to burn the candle at both ends and be caught due to exhaustion. If the savanna ecosystem is a massive construction site, then the giraffe is the mobile crane of the plains. Standing nearly 6 meters tall, they are not just there to pluck the tastiest young leaves from the tops of acacia trees that other residents cannot reach. They serve as the 24/7 security surveillance system for the entire grassland. With a panoramic view and high-definition visual clarity, a giraffe can spot a lurking lion from more than 1 kilometer away. To pump blood up that remarkably long neck, their hearts must generate blood pressure twice as high as a human's. They also possess incredibly dense collagen fibers in their legs, which act like a pilot's compression suit, preventing blood from pooling at the bottom due to gravity. When their back is against the wall, the giraffe transforms into a heavy-duty combat machine. Those legs are nothing short of sledgehammers. A direct strike from a giraffe carries the impact of tons of muscle, enough to severely compromise the skull or spine of an adult lion in the blink of an eye. Even the most experienced lion prides will think twice before deciding to make an adult giraffe their evening meal. However, the price of greatness is a certain level of vulnerability. As the saying goes, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. The moment they stop for a drink is a true moment of truth. To bring their mouth down to the ground, they must awkwardly splay their front legs, putting their body in a state of complete imbalance. At this point, their center of gravity is completely off kilter. This is the moment the ambushers of the savanna have been waiting for. The strategy of the lion pride is not to overpower them immediately, That would be a tall order. They seek to cause panic, hoping to make this giant stumble or lose its footing. Once that body weighing more than 1 ton collapses to the earth, every advantage of height and those thunderous kicks goes up in smoke. The magnificent neck that once allowed it to see across the entire grassland now becomes a critical point of vulnerability, held fast by dozens of sharp teeth. It is a somber conclusion, yet it is the uncompromising rule of balance. The peak of evolution sometimes comes hand in hand with the deepest of valleys. In contrast to the giraffe, that giant who makes seekers of a meal strain their necks looking up, the warthog is a creature that forces even the proudest hunters like the leopard or lion to literally get down on its level. To catch this short fellow, those big cats must crawl close to the ground, enduring the sweltering heat of the earth and the prickly bushes brushing against their bellies. Thriving is sometimes a game of lowering one's center of gravity, and the warthog is a master of that game. With a neck that is too short compared to its legs, the warthog must kneel on its 2 front legs to graze. This posture allows it to eat while remaining ready to dash away like an arrow at the drop of a hat. When it senses a potential challenge, the warthog activates its survival antenna, a tail held straight up. This is the alarm signal for the whole family to keep an eye out. The warthog can reach speeds of 48 kilometers per hour. Not a bad figure for a fellow with such a sturdy appearance. When its back is against the wall, it seeks out a burrow, often borrowed from an aardvark. Instead of diving in head first and exposing its softer side, the warthog spins around, letting those razor-sharp tusks point directly outward. Their lower teeth are actually a pair of self-sharpening daggers. Any seeker foolish enough to peer into the burrow will immediately receive a sharp greeting. Facing a dark burrow with 2 blades waiting, a wise hunter will know when to call it a day. The warthog also possesses an excellent spatial memory. They remember the locations of dozens of burrows within their territory, so they always have an escape plan within 100 meters. It is a true warrior. One who knows how to turn the bumps on its face into a shield and transform a narrow burrow into a highly secure fortress. In this realm, there exists an elite class that even the most confident are strong enough to uproot a massive tree, yet delicate enough to pick up a single blade of grass. But what truly makes the African bush elephant essentially untouchable comes from their 5-kilogram brain. The latest neurological studies in 2024 confirmed that their hippocampus, The memory storage center is developed above and beyond the norm. A matriarch can recall the exact location of a watering hole that she visited only once, 30 years ago. During the dry season, that memory is the fine line between thriving and simply losing one's way for the entire clan. While we are preoccupied with 5G networks, elephants have been using an infrasound network for millions of years. They emit low-frequency sounds that the human ear cannot detect, but which can travel up to 10 kilometers through the earth. When a herd in the north finds water, relatives in the south can already feel those vibrations through their sensitive feet. A perfect internal communication system without the need for any signal towers. However, do not mistake their calm and wisdom for a lack of strength. A bull elephant in a state of must, a phase where testosterone levels soar to 60 times the normal amount, is a force to be reckoned with. At that time, even armored off-road vehicles or the most aggressive rhinoceroses are merely toys to be crushed under their intense power. Scientists in 2025 have also just announced a new role for them: climate guardians. By clearing small trees and thinning out the brush, they help larger trees absorb more carbon while creating space for biodiversity. Every footstep they take can set the stage for reshaping an entire continent. Another giant, not the largest like the elephant, but given a formidable nickname by blacksmiths and hunters alike, the Black Shadow. With a weight reaching nearly 900 kilograms and standing 1.5 meters at the shoulder, this fellow is a literal biological tank. Its horns, referred to as the boss, are actually a solid mass of bone connected directly to the skull. This is an unbreakable natural helmet. If the strength of the elephant lies in wisdom, then what makes the Cape buffalo truly imposing is its memory and its tendency to hold a grudge. Behavioral studies in 2024 confirmed a trait that the scientific community calls calculated retribution. If a lion confronts a member of the herd, the Cape buffalo will not forget. They may actively seek out that lion pride, surrounding and settling the score with the young ones of their rivals, even when not provoked. It is a psychological game where the resident sometimes becomes the most unwavering hunter of all. Science in 2025 has also revealed a remarkably democratic social structure within the massive Cape buffalo herds at Kruger National Park. They cast a ballot to decide which way older solitary male, often called a dagger boy, is the most unpredictable presence you might encounter on the plains. With nothing left to lose and a spirit full of scars, he has a chip on his shoulder and will charge anything that enters his cold gaze. Thriving for the Cape buffalo is not about running away. It is about choosing to stand your ground, lowering those horns and staring directly at a rival with a silent message. I may fall today, but you certainly will not be getting back up. An aging, spirited warrior who possesses a steely mind to write his own rules on the Savanna. Weighing 3,000 kilograms, ranking third in size among land-dwelling residents, and holding the record for the highest number of intense interactions with humans in Africa. That is the hippopotamus, the unmatched presence of every river who is often a force to be reckoned with. A yawn from a hippopotamus is a direct word of caution. Those tusks are pure instruments of strength, capable of passing through the thick hide of any resident foolish enough to overlook their boundaries. An interesting paradox is that this stout-looking creature does not actually swim in the traditional sense. They are simply too heavy to stay buoyant. Instead, they jog along the riverbed, a powerful form of underwater galloping. While on land, they can still reach speeds of up to 30 kilometers per hour. A spirited hippopotamus could catch up to an Olympic athlete in a heartbeat. Every night, the hippo leaves the water to graze on up to 40 kilograms of grass, and then, yes, they deposit a massive amount of nutrients back into the river, providing up to 70% of the silica needed by algae and fish downstream. They are essentially nutrient conveyor belts connecting the land and the water. However, the temperament of this species is a different kettle of fish. They can easily get hot under the collar and possess an ego even larger than their massive frames. A male hippopotamus will not hesitate to confront a motorboat or even a lion simply because that fellow dared to stand in the way of its path to the water. Imagine you are a tank weighing 2,000 kilograms, possessing a pair of razor-sharp horns, but having the eyesight of someone who left their glasses at home. Welcome to the confusing world of the rhinoceros. If the African bush elephant is a sage, the rhinoceros is like a spirited neighbor who woke up on the wrong side of the bed and is ready to pick a quarrel with anything that moves. Including a bush, a pile of rocks, or even your Jeep. Their philosophy for thriving is simple. If you are not sure what it is, give it a firm nudge first. A rhinoceros's vision is so limited that they cannot distinguish a person from a tree trunk at a distance of 30 meters. But to make up for their modest sight, they possess hearing and a sense of smell so sharp they can detect your heartbeat from the other side of the brush. Here we have two main lineages, the white rhinoceros and the black rhinoceros. Do not let the names lead you astray, as both are actually the same shade of gray. The difference is all in the mouth. The white rhinoceros has a wide lip like a vacuum cleaner, perfectly suited for short grass. Meanwhile, the black rhinoceros has a pointed, nimble lip for plucking thorny leaves. Beside the rhinoceros are their personal bodyguards, the oxpecker birds. They do not just feast on skin parasites. They act as an early warning system. When these birds suddenly take wing and screech, that is when the armored knight knows it is time to lower its horn and begin a spirited charge. The horn of a rhinoceros is a solid mass of keratin, yet it is strong enough to pierce right through the door of an armored car. And although they may seem slow, a rhinoceros can reach speeds of 55 kilometers per hour in just a few seconds. That is 2 tons of muscle moving with the momentum of a high-end electric motorcycle. Sadly, their greatest challenge to thriving is not with the lion, but with those who pursue them unlawfully. The latest data shows that conservation efforts using global positioning system technology and strict protection in private reserves are helping the white rhinoceros population see a modest recovery. But the black rhinoceros is still on thin ice, with fewer than 6,500 individuals remaining. A solitary giant, easily stirred but incredibly delicate when faced with human ambition. The rhinoceros is a reminder that even the thickest armor cannot fully protect you from the harsh nature of the modern world. If you think those giants on land are formidable, take a look down into the murky currents of the Mara River. The Nile crocodile is a masterpiece of design from an era as old as the hills. This fellow has not required a single update for 65 million years. With a low profile but a length reaching 5 meters and a weight of 750 kilograms, the Nile crocodile is the definition of staying under the radar. It can remain out of sight in water only 30 centimeters deep without leaving so much as a ripple. Its heart features a special valve that allows it to remain below the surface for more than 2 hours without needing to draw a breath. It does not chase after its dinner. It simply waits for someone to make that one mistake of a lifetime, bending down to take a single sip of water. The measured force of an adult's bite reaches 34,500 kilopascals, which is like having the weight of a heavy-duty truck pressing down on an area no larger than a coin. Once those jaws are locked, it is the end of the line. And if that pressure is not enough to conclude the journey for the visitor, it will employ its signature move, the ultimate spin. By spinning its body at high speed, it uses its own weight and momentum to ensure no escape is possible. However, do not view this fellow as just a brainless machine for ending life cycles. The Nile crocodile also possesses a level of cleverness that is second to none. They memorize the seasonal movements of other residents and even know how to work together to surround schools of fish or block the path of those crossing the river. As the great caretakers of the river, they consume remains and keep the water source from being affected by illness. They are the guardians of the current, the silent giants who ensure the pulse of the Savanna never skips a beat. In contrast to their stern methods of pursuit, these cold-blooded beings are some of the most devoted parents on the savanna. A mother will gently use those same jaws that could crush the bones of an elephant to carry her hatchlings, bringing them safely to the water. It is a contrast that truly takes the cake in the natural world. If the grasslands are the muscles of the savanna, then the river is its very lifeblood. This is a place where the final chapter of a journey is written by more than just bites, weighing several tons or intense, forceful charges. Here, we play by a different set of rules. The name of the game is cleverness, calculation, and spectacular stealthy maneuvers. With a length that can reach 2.2 meters, the Nile monitor is the largest lizard on the continent, and it also possesses a mind just as sharp as its sleek appearance. In the world of the savanna, seeking a confrontation with a mature Nile crocodile is a risky business. But the Nile monitor is not interested in such a meeting. It is interested in the treasure the mother crocodile is watching over beneath the warm sand. The Nile monitor is a top-tier entry specialist. Using its forked tongue to taste the scent of life, it can pinpoint the exact location of a crocodile's nest, even when it is perfectly hidden. Nile monitors often travel in pairs to carry out organized heists. One will play the role of the distraction, making a deliberate appearance to draw the mother crocodile away from the nest in a futile chase. While the ruler of the river is busy following the decoy, the accomplice will quietly dig and feast on the protein-rich eggs. A perfect diversionary tactic, but do not think they are only good at taking what is not theirs. Nile monitors are also versatile athletes. They can move across the land at an impressive pace, climb trees like a seasoned pro, and navigate the waters with a tail that functions like a powerful rudder. They can hold their breath underwater for up to 30 minutes to find fish, or steer clear of those who might present a challenge. Their teeth change shape as they grow older. When they are young, they have sharp teeth for catching fish and insects. As they mature, their teeth become broader and less pointed to crush the shells of snails and turtles. Nature has provided them with a versatile dining kit to thrive through every stage of life. While the Nile crocodile rules with sheer strength, the Nile monitor rules with agility and the ability to think on their feet. It serves as a reminder that in the journey of life, having a sharp mind can sometimes be more potent than a set of keen teeth. A clever thief, a track athlete, and a master of opportunity. This is the tireless pulse of the riverbanks. But in the world of wings, this land dragon is merely a light snack. The Nile monitor can stand its ground against a graceful saddle-billed stork, but there are some before whom even the most spirited residents will hesitate. When the long shadow of the marabou stork falls, the game is up. Standing 1.5 meters tall, this is one of the largest birds on the planet. With its patchy bald head, a hanging throat pouch, and a charcoal grey cloak of feathers across its shoulders, the marabou stork resembles an undertaker straight out of a 19th century horror novel. People call them the ugliest birds in the world, But in this demanding savanna, good looks do not help a resident keep their belly full. Within the river ecosystem, they are the ultimate cleanup crew. Wherever a life journey reaches its natural conclusion, there you will find the marabou stork. They stand there, silent and patient, like ancient statues, waiting for the lion prides to move on and for the vultures to open the toughest layers. They are the final link, ensuring that nothing goes to waste, preventing the spread of unhealthy conditions by taking care of even the most weathered remains. But do not be mistaken, it is not merely a taker of leftovers. The marabou stork is a profound and opportunistic hunter. That massive beak can process bone, pass through thick hide, and encompass smaller neighbors, from fish and frogs to unfortunate young chicks, in the blink of an eye. Their stark white legs are actually covered in a layer of uric acid from their own waste. Science refers to this phenomenon as urohydrosis. By utilizing this method, they use evaporation to keep their blood cool in the sweltering African heat. It is a temperature control system that might be a bit messy, but it truly hits the mark. The latest observation data from 2025 shows that the marabou stork is rapidly expanding its territory thanks to its remarkable ability to adjust. They possess hollow bones in their legs and wings, which reduces their weight so they can soar for hours on warm air currents without breaking a sweat. Amidst a savanna filled with those who display their strength, the marabou stork exists as a quiet reminder of the cycle of existence. This fellow does not seek anyone's affection. He only needs the quiet to get down to business with his cleanup duties. A somber but indispensable presence in the pulse of the river. After all those cunning and imposing hunters, the greater flamingo appears softly and calmly, like pink clouds resting on the water's surface. Their appearance is more beautiful and brilliant than any ornamental bird, yet they are some of the most tough-as-nails nomads. Explorers without borders. When the salt lakes dry up, they are ready to fly hundreds of kilometers to find the coastal rivers of the savanna. A single greater flamingo can travel more than 500 kilometers in just one night to find a source of fresh water. This nomadic ability helps them thrive through the most challenging dry seasons, when large rivers are reduced to mere streaks of mud. Here, they do not just filter algae, they transform into true seekers of small fish and shrimp, a remarkable flexibility for a creature that might seem like a picky eater. While the rest of the world bows its head to eat, the greater flamingo turns its beak upside down in the water. That beak is a sophisticated biological filter, equipped with small horny plates called lamellae, which help capture small crustaceans and fish while pushing excess water out. Their brilliant pink color is the result of a diet rich in carotenoid pigments. In other words, they truly are what they eat. If they stop consuming shrimp and red algae, they will fade away like an old photograph. The flamingo's long legs feature a counter-current heat exchange system, helping to preserve body warmth as they stand for hours in cold water or saturated salt water. And although they may seem delicate, the skin on their legs is so firm and hardy that even corrosive salt or microscopic organisms must throw in the towel. It is quite an irony that the bird which appears most fanciful is actually the one with the most enduring ability to adjust. Beauty is not just for viewing, it is a top-tier survival strategy. A dancer whose knees never tire, a brilliant pink hunter upon the water. That is the poetic pulse of the Savanna River. And finally, there is a resident who receives little attention during the journeys of discovery across the savanna, the African clawless otter. Unlike most other otters, this fellow has traded claws for something more influential, hands as nimble as those of a human. The fingers of the African clawless otter are not fully webbed, allowing them to perform maneuvers that would give even a professional pickpocket a run for their money. They can reach into the narrowest rocky crevices, turning over every pebble to find crabs and mollusks. This otter has the ability to solve complex puzzles and remember solutions for a long time. They do not just seek a meal by instinct, they do so with an understanding of physical principles. They know how to use stones to crack open the firmest shells, a sign of tool use that is quite rare compared to many other residents. African clawless otters are incredibly affectionate beings. They live in family groups, sharing food and spending hours every day just playing. But playing is actually a set of training exercises for the skills needed by the next generation. In the swift current of the river, family bonding is the best protective shield. However, behind that endearing appearance and those playful antics lies a delicate reality. The African clawless otter is the health indicator of the river. They cannot thrive in water sources that are not pristine or where food is lacking due to overactivity by others. When you see them vanish, it means the pulse of the river is on its last legs. From the calculated pursuits of the lion prides, the proud solitude of the leopard, to the clever strategies of those who seek to thrive. You see, nature has no wasted pieces. It is truly a perfect fit. A giant like the African bush elephant paves the way for smaller neighbors. A caretaker like the marabou stork keeps the river free from ailments. And even the clamor of the spotted hyena is an essential part of the harmony. But let us be honest for a moment. This grand tapestry is facing some challenges that the claws of the residents cannot mend on their own. However, there are still extraordinary things happening right now on the continent. In 2025, Africa is truly stepping up to the plate as a model of dedicated effort. From the Great Green Wall project, reviving millions of hectares of dry land, to the use of artificial intelligence and satellite networks to protect the armored rhino knights from those who seek them. Nations like Botswana or Namibia have shown that when local communities pitch in to help, wildlife is no longer a burden, but a source of pride and a steady way of life. What can we, sitting thousands of miles away from those rivers where the heat reaches 40 degrees Celsius, truly do? Preservation does not always have to be a tall order. It starts with choosing to understand and value these stories. It starts when you support clear products that do not come at the expense of the well-being of the residents or the vibrancy of the forests. It starts when you share this message, spreading the inspiration of a world where the tigerfish still leaps and the greater flamingo still paints pink clouds on the water. The wild world does not need us to rescue it as an act of charity. They simply need us to give them a fair shake by allowing them enough room to exist, a clean source of water to drink, and a basic level of respect for the rules that have been in place for millions of years. In the end, looking after the Savanna is not just about helping them, but rather we are looking after a part of our own soul, the part that is most free and true. Thank you for joining me on this journey. And remember, every small action you take today is a heartbeat that helps the spirit of the Savanna River stay the course and continue to echo for generations to come. We have just traveled together through the most authentic glimpses into the lives of those who walk alone, the true nomad fighters of the natural world. In this place, solitude is not a choice made out of romance. It is a pathway to endurance that every resident must walk personally to ensure their lineage continues to carry the torch. After all these moments captured on film, I want to ask you one thing. Which resident in today's story caused you to see the wild in a new light? Is it the iron will of those roamers who were left with nothing, like the male lions moved on from their pride who are striving to find their kingdom once more? Or is it the cleverness of those wanderers who never throw in the towel, like the Nile monitor who dares to put it all on the line for those bold egg acquisitions? Do not keep those reflections to yourself. Please share your thoughts in the comments below regarding the remarkable resilience of the nomad warriors who truly caught your eye. Every story you share and every point of view you offer is how we stay in touch with the natural spirit that remains alive within us all. Do not forget to like and subscribe to stay in the loop for our upcoming expeditions, where we will continue to understand the most mysterious secrets of endurance. Your support is more than just a set of figures. It is the most precious inspiration that helps us continue our dedicated journey of following the great solitary ones across the globe.